Are you ready? All right. Good morning, everyone. I'll call to order a meeting of the Kent County Board of Commissioners, and we will start this morning with our roll call.
Good morning. On the attendance roll call, Commissioners Wooden, Teal,
Here.
Sparks, Ponstein, Pekla,
Here.
Oliver King, Merchant,
Here.
McLeod, LeGrand, Coleman, Hildebrand,
Here.
Hennessy,
Here.
Vice Chair Green,
Here.
Commissioner Diaz,
Here.
DeBoer,
Here.
Burl,
Here.
Bujak, Breivy,
Here.
Baker,
Here.
Antor, Chair Steck.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have 6 present, 5
I know
absent.
Commissioner Coleman just walked in, so.
17 present, 4 absent. You have a quorum.
And did you get Commissioner Sparks? She also just came.
Perfect. I'll get her too.
All right. Any other comers? All right. We will go ahead with our invocation, and we'll call on Commissioner Teal.
Thank you, Chair Stack. This morning I have the privilege of welcoming Deacon John Ashmore from St. Robert of Newminster in Ada, my home parish.
Good morning. On behalf of my parish, it is a blessing to be here today. As I stand here, one quick comment. It's something bigger than me, but it's bigger than me that has created families. And that's who we truly serve in our political system, is families. So let me share this blessing with each of you. Almighty and eternal God, we humbly come before you to ask your blessing upon this gathering of civic leaders. Grant to them the wisdom, justice, and compassion to govern this community with devotion to the common good. May the Holy Spirit inspire and enlighten these public servants that they may discover and faithfully fulfill their vocation to serve the people with courage and care. Imbue them with the liberating power of truth, that they may discern your will and act in accordance with your divine plan. We pray that you would grant health, peace, concord, and stability to those entrusted with authority, and that they may exercise their sovereignty without offense, but with devotion and in peace and gentleness. May they be docile to your guidance and make themselves loved by dedicating themselves to the true good of the citizens. Through the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary, seat of wisdom and mother of the Church, may this gathering be an occasion of true encounter with Christ, the cornerstone who enlightens all our projects and plans. We ask this in the name of your Son, our Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, one God forever and ever. Amen. Amen. May God's blessing be upon you. Thank you.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Our next item of business is, unfortunately for folks here, a closed session. So we will be taking a motion to go into a closed session for a bit to discuss a matter that qualifies for closed session, and then we'll reconvene and someone will announce out in the hallway when we're ready to go back in. So with that, I will call on Vice Chair Green.
Thank you, Chair Steck. I move to go into closed session in accordance with the Open Meetings Act to consult with the county's attorney regarding a written opinion of counsel. The county's attorney has advised the board that an open meeting on this issue would have a detrimental effect on the county.
Is supported?
Yeah.
All those-
Actually, roll call.
Roll call. please.
On the motion to enter closed session, Commissioners Wooden,
Yes.
Teal,
Yes.
Sparks, Ponstein, Pekla,
Yes.
Oliver King, Merchant, McLeod, LeGrand, Coleman, Hildebrand, Hennessy, Vice Chair Green,
Yes.
Commissioners Diaz, DeBoer, Burl,
Yes.
Bujek, Brevi,
Yes.
Baker, Antor,
Yes.
Chair Steck.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays. The motion passes.
Okay, we will now then go into closed session, and we'll excuse those of you who are not allowed consent to participate, and we will alert you when we are back into open session. All right, I will call us back to order from the recess. Thank you. We will now continue with our agenda. Excuse me, beginning with special order business from our Road Commission. Presentation from Jerry Byrne. Good morning.
Good morning and thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to address the board. I will keep it brief. You've had a busy morning. We just want to start off with some very basics of who we are and what we do. Just sometimes there's a misconception, Kent County Road Commission, green trucks, we do everything. We like to think we do everything, but we don't work inside of the cities and the villages. So if you have constituents that are in cities and villages, you have your own DPWs that take care of that issue. We do coordinate with those agencies. We meet monthly with the big cities and villages so we can coordinate activities, like levels of service, but totally different jurisdictions. We do like to point out, we're very proud of our low administrative costs and debt services. So almost every dollar we get goes directly to the road. Very low overhead and debt services. Something new we like to push out is our website has been updated. We've listened to the public and we've listened to the townships. They want to know where we're working. Not that they want to be there, they don't want to be there. So they have an opportunity to get these updates, sign up and get an update and know where we're at. It helps them, it helps us. So it's a huge benefit to get that information out to the public. The other, again, is find your jurisdiction. People like to report a problem. We like those reported to us so we can address those problems. We don't like to tell people it's not us. You go there, you put your address in, it sends you to the right jurisdiction. Huge benefit to the public. Nobody likes to be passed around. We listen to them. The other part of it is FAQs. You as commissioners often get complaints, issues, not sure how to answer. We like to send those FAQs, send them to our website. We explain they can look, see what the problem is. It's high grass, it hasn't been mowed, snow removal, sprinkler head damage. We like to explain that so people can get the same answer and they can get it at 2 in the morning, they can get it at 7 in the morning, but it's there. So again, we would like you to look at this website and please share it with your constituents. It's very handy, it's very helpful. A little recap from last year. 84th and Kalamazoo, if you've been on the south end, we put our first full-scale roundabout in. There was some controversy at the time. Can people drive it? I see some smiles from some commissioners. Very well received. Hear nothing but positive comments. They reduced severity of accidents. The actual accidents will increase slightly with property damage until people get used to it, but the severity goes down greatly. Huge success. Very expensive. That's about $1.2 million to $1.3 million, $1.2 to $1.3 million improvement. Okay, so you're not going to see them everywhere, but where we can do it, we're looking at a couple roundabout possibilities on the north end of the county. Again, very beneficial, safety improvement. The other one we want to highlight is the 10-mile road project. We were able to complete an all-season commercial corridor, and that was thank you to the board for ARPA dollars. We were able to take those ARPA dollars, double them up, and complete that corridor project. Let's talk about 24. Number of projects on there you can read. We're going to hit 433 lane miles of full width surface treatment of some sort, okay? What we like to do, we serve 21 townships, all from Spencer to Byron, okay?
We're going to get work in every single township, regardless of the size of their population. We need to treat people equally. They travel throughout the county. We're going to make sure all 21 see some service. And also share that pain. Again, road construction season, winter maintenance, 2 seasons in Michigan. It's either orange barrels or it's white. Okay, so we like to share that, the benefit and the frustration of road work countywide. Talk about probably our single biggest partner are the townships. Okay, they contribute $8 to $9 million a year. We match that basically with 50% for dollar. So we're looking at a $17 million program this year from our townships. Single biggest partner are those 21 townships, and those relationships are key for the road commission. And that goes everything from repaving gravel roads. If you're serving a urban constituency, you probably don't realize that we have over 300 miles of unpaved roads still in this county. Okay, so that's everything from dust layer to total reconstruct and repave. Many of these townships have multi-year programs, and that really helps them plan ahead. It helps us plan our budget, and it helps the constituents. Everybody wants their road fixed. Everybody can't be first. Somebody's going to be last, but if you have a program, you can really show when you're in that program. So if townships want that, that's a service we provide them. Now some probably not so good news. If you look at the road rating systems, we rate all our roads, paved roads, every year. We're probably one of the only jurisdictions in the, at least countywide, out of the 83 counties that rate every road every year. Okay, it takes money, it takes energy, but it's well worth it. If you look at the primary road system, we're not real proud of that because we've lost 5% of the number of roads in good and fair condition. Now 5% doesn't sound like much, but that's 33 miles that are in poor condition that were in good and fair over the course of the 2 years. Local roads, we're proud of that because we're up 9%. And again, that's because the townships are kicking in that money that we can match. And that's 118 more roads that are in good and fair condition. So we're proud of that fact. But we're not so proud of what's going on with the primary. And it's when we're going to talk about the impacts of inflation. We had a gas tax increase or a funding package increase in 2015, and as part of that, there's an inflationary factor. But the inflationary factor doesn't meet the construction inflation. We all know when we go to the store, we complain when we look at a carton of eggs or a gallon of milk how much it goes up. But construction costs have skyrocketed way beyond that. Every contract we award is typically 20 to 30% more year after year. Biggest parts are what we use the most of. That's asphalt and aggregate to build roads and maintain roads. So inflation is really hampering our ability to keep up on the road system. And what you're going to see moving forward is really the Road Commission changing their philosophy and their strategy, at least temporarily. We're going to reduce the number of full reconstructs that we do, and what that means is that expansion of the all-season network or economic support network. We're not going to be doing that because we have to make some hard decisions. You're not going to see additional construction in lanes. You're not going to see additional non-motorized shoulders on roads because those projects are about $2 million a mile. What you're going to see more of is full surface treatments. Either we take all the blacktop off and we put it back on. We put a chip seal on, we put a microsurface, we put an overlay. Those are about 200,000 a mile. So it's really simple math. We can do 1 mile or we can do 10 miles. So we have to start moving into some less expensive treatments so we can get more miles taken care of. Okay? It's just simple economics. And lastly, we want to talk a little bit about what pays for the roads, and that doesn't matter if it comes from a city or a village or the Road Commission. Our main source of funding is vehicle registrations and fuel tax. We all know every time we buy a new vehicle, we look at what the fuel economy is, and we want better fuel economy. We also talk about electric vehicles and hybrids, but the real issue is who pays the most, and that's probably the person that can't afford it the most because they can't afford a new vehicle. They're driving a vehicle getting 15, 18, 20 miles a gallon. Somebody that can afford the best bang for your buck or the least you pay per mile is a fuel-efficient internal combustion engine. Okay, there's no additional registration. You're getting 40 miles a gallon. That means you're paying half of what the person is paying, 20 miles a gallon. And maybe you're only getting 15 miles a gallon. So You're going to be hearing, you've probably seen it on the news, the state's talking about mileage-based user fees. Okay, that's really what we have now, except with the disparity between fuel economy, that's not the case. We need to look at some equity in how we're funding transportation. So again, at the state level, they're talking about it. The reality, that's probably 6, 8, 12 years out. In the meantime, at a local level, we have to let the folks in Lansing know they need to adjust transportation, or we're going to be looking at what we did in the 70s and 80s, or back in the early 2000s, where we were turning roads back into gravel, at least temporarily, because of the funding issue. So again, I don't want this to be all about funding. It's more of an education piece of what's happening. You may be paying a little bit more in tax, but your fuel economy, you're paying way less per mile driven than we've ever paid before. I drove a V10 Dodge diesel and was happy with 8 miles a gallon, still drive a 3/4 ton truck, but it has 15 miles per gallon. Now I'm getting it for half. So it should have been less than 10 minutes, I was told to do. More hasn't worked yet, so open to questions.
All right, well, you surprised me. I wasn't anticipating you'd make that 10 minutes. All right. Questions or comments? Yes, Commissioner Antor.
Thank you, Chair. I love when you guys present. I love our road commission. I always have. You guys are the best in the state. Totally trust you in the process. I had a question that's a little bit off the wall. I know anybody that's driven around anywhere now, there's deer everywhere, and we're smacking deer, and it's the insurance companies are crying because they have to pay. It's a big problem, and you guys are part of a task force, from what I understand. And over the last few decades, I've sat on many roundtables and different task force along with the DNR, including, I believe, with your mom, Jennifer, when she was the director of the DNR. So I've got a long history working on issues regarding deer. It's one thing I do know a lot about, and I would like to just publicly offer, I'd love to be, if you have an at-large seat for a citizen to be on there, I'd love to sit on that board.
Well, in the other part, Mark Rample is in the back of the room. He's part of the three-member panel right now that are working on it. We are going to be looking at a larger group. We wanted to get at least the initial part underway. We're currently looking to be under contract with Grand Valley State University to study it, and we will be looking for additional input from folks. So we'll put your name on there. We've met with Farm Bureau. We've met with a number of groups that, hey, we want to be in. It's like, let us just manage the beginning of this with a small group and then open it up large. So we're close.
I appreciate that, and I would love to serve. And again, I've always been impressed with our road commission, and there's a pride that takes place within the road commission on the facilities, the vehicles, the maintenance, and truly you trying to squeeze every ounce and every mile out of the equipment, and I just think you guys do a great job. So thank you.
Thank you. That's the culture we try to bring into the new generation, if you will. Every new employee, we try to get that culture instilled. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Jerry. I'll be very brief. Commissioner Antor stole some of my thunder, but I just wanted to commend the work that you guys do. I would put the Kent County Road Commission up against anybody in the state in terms of the quality, what we provide to the residents. We've got challenges on the funding side that aren't created by your organization. But I also want to say specifically kudos to Maura and the team. The communications are just top-notch. I think what you guys do with a lot less funding per mile or person is comparable to what MDOT and other agencies in the field do. And I'm taking the note that maybe before I send you an email, Jerry, with a constituent question, we'll review the FAQs. I know you're happy to answer them, but so anyway, thank you guys for the work you're doing. We appreciate the stewardship with the public dollars that are sent your way.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ponstein.
Thank you, Chair Steck. Thanks for being here today. So you had mentioned the money part, that it's about money, and that's what we're talking about, but that's what governments do. We collect taxes. In order to collect more taxes, we got to get more people in here. We got to bring new things in here to attract people. You know, looking at the deficiencies that we do have in the roads, is the infrastructure in place, or will it be in place for this new population surge that everyone's predicting? All these new cultural centers that are going to be built around the county. I mean, one thing, I mean, are you at the table? Do people listen that the infrastructure isn't in place? Because I know my commute to work has doubled since after COVID now. And, but we keep adding things.
All right.
And
It's
feel
like-
free to take all my time, the rest. I got about a half hour.
Well, there's like 4 questions.
I know
so
you
know if
don't.
I get them all, so. Are we at the table? Yes. As much as, we are at the table, probably not as much as we should be, but yes, we are at the table with a lot of these issues that you're bringing up. Is the infrastructure there? The answer is no. Because, again, for us to spend those dollars to rebuild a mile road is $2 million. We have a $100 million budget. That's 2% for one road. The infrastructure is not there. If we don't get buy-in from business that are putting these businesses in to help fund those infrastructure needs, no. We go for every grant possible. We're hopefully getting a federal grant to improve Patterson Avenue, to get a double left turn going into the airport. So we try to search those grants out. But to answer your question, the answer is no. The infrastructure is not there to handle the type of traffic demands that we hope we see because of increased business. It's not there, and the answer is no.
Commissioner Diaz.
Thank you, Chair. I'm curious as to, do we have data on the factors that are damaging our roads? Obviously, we're in Michigan, we have that winter to deal with, but I even just now got an email from somebody who has been messaging me to speak out against having heavier trucks on our roads. And I've read about a lot of these big trucks that essentially violate the law and put more weight onto their trucks than they're supposed to. Is that a cause? Is that a factor in our roads deteriorating?
Yes. It's more than one question. Michigan does currently allow some of the heaviest weights in the nation. There's pros and cons to that, because if you can have one truck carry or have 3 trucks carry the same amount of load, what's doing more damage? Some philosophy is you're better off with one single heavy truck. If it's legal, is better than having 3 times the amount of truck, 3 times the amount of traffic, 3 times the amount of congestion. So the answer to the part is legal loads are fine in Michigan. The infrastructure's there to handle that. We build them according to that. The overloaded part is another issue. We can write those citations. We have people certified to write those tickets. We work with the sheriff's department, the state police, to enforce that. But that's really about getting voluntary compliance, like it is almost in any law enforcement agency. It's education. But it is about enforcement, and we write tickets and we don't get the fines. We could come back to the county and ask those fines come back to the road commission. We don't personally think that's a good idea. We like they go into the system instead of coming back to the agency. But
And who sets the amount of those fines? Is it the state or is it us?
the state sets the amount, and it's pretty hefty. Now, we could talk about the county being involved in that. That gets a little bit political, as it has on the east side of the state. I guess I'd really have to think that through before I come back with a recommendation to make it more of an ordinance that we could collect the money and do the fines. I'm personally a believer that the majority of the people that use those roads, including the heavy truck industry, wants to do it legal, and it's an education piece in voluntary compliance versus a stick approach, if you will.
Yeah.
I think you still need the enforcement, but I think it's the education is the most important.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hennessy.
Thank you. Your report mentioned the non-motorized uses. Can you elaborate on, what your policy is and how you, when you're redoing roads, how you accommodate non-motorized uses?
Sure can. We do it a couple different ways. One is we have a partnership with our townships that will put the separated non-motorized paths within the right-of-way. Those are entirely funded by the townships. A lot of those townships have park and rec millages or millages specifically for non-motorized. What I was referring to, when we reconstruct a road, we try to pave at least a 4 to 6 foot shoulder. While it's connected to the road, there's still a path there that allows people to use a paved trail, if you will, that's with the pavement. You're not separated from traffic, but at least you have a paved shoulder. You're not riding in the lane. Those are the ones that we have to eliminate, because we're not going to do those full reconstruct jobs at the same volume we are today.
Do you maintain those
Yes.
that shoulder area?
If
I mean,
it's
for
connect-
bicyclists and that type of thing?
If it's connected to the pavement, We treat it just like the rest of the road. We scrape it in the wintertime for snow removal, we patch it, we surface treat it. If it's connected, yes. If it's separated, that infrastructure belongs to the local jurisdiction, i.e. the township.
All right, Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Chair. We've seen nationally an increase in pedestrian-involved accidents. Do we have stats on how, on pedestrian-involved accidents here within the Road Commission's service area?
It's actually bigger than that. We're working with Grand Valley Metro Council, and that answer is yes.
Okay.
And that is part of a pilot that we're looking at with the non-motorized user. Yes, the answer is yes, and there's a program that'll be coming out shortly. They're studying it, we're looking at it, and trying to make those determinations, so yes.
And the reason I ask is, it's often counterintuitive, but there's been a long-standing idea that if a road is rated to have a speed limit at a certain amount, it's still built to allow vehicles to drive over that limit. And then the idea is, if someone's over the limit, they get pulled over, it's punitive, it goes from there. But streets that are designed to accommodate the actual limit are more likely to have people comply with that limit, which in turn also makes it safer for the pedestrian and hopefully does less damage to the road itself. Now, I realize you've made a rational choice to prioritize maintenance over restructure, but has there been any thought in addressing our ability to make our streets safer by making it more likely that drivers will simply, by second nature, drive by the limit rather than try to avoid law enforcement and driving over?
It's kind of a tough question, okay?
It's okay.
Well, it's a hard question because when we build those, we have to build them for the motorist as number one because that's the primary user, okay? When we build in some of those safety factors, i.e. better sight distance, people feel, all of us in this room drive what we feel is reasonable and prudent, and most wouldn't know what the posted speed limit is. So we take some of those curves, vertical or horizontal, out to make it safer, but in tune, they can drive faster. So some of it's counterintuitive, So do we leave a hill with a limited sight distance, knowing people will slow down, but impeding because of that limited sight distance? That answer is no. We're going to make that sight distance the best we can for everybody, including the non-motorized.
I'd agree with certainly sight distance. I'm more thinking like...
You're talking width.
Width, street trees to accommodate things, ways to make the driver's subconscious push them towards actually driving the limit.
Right. In street trees, we allow them, we permit them, we've got people put them in. It's part of, and actually in some of the subdivisions, we encourage it.
Yeah.
Okay? But it goes against what Commissioner Hennessy talked about. Those paved shoulders make the road wider for a place for the non-motorized user, but to the motorist, it's wider. They think they can drive faster. So we're kind of working sometimes against each other, if you will, by providing those wider pavements. We're encouraging is probably the wrong word, we're psychologically, they think they could drive faster because it's wider, but we have a facility for a non-motorized user. I think you have to look at the type of road. Is it a subdivision road? You get some trees planted close to the road. Is it a West River or a Fruit Ridge or 84th Street? Probably not conducive for a lot of non-motorized users that aren't separated. We work with those townships, and we're the Act 51 agents, so we get the grant money and they put those non-motorized and they're separated. They feel safer, and they are safer to be separated.
Correct.
I hear you. It's a tough issue. That the whole speed issue is a tough issue. The smoother, some people say leave the road rough or leave the potholes. It slows people down. Well, we can't do that.
No.
But those are the comments we hear.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Right.
So
I think it's I would simply encourage you to. Your comments share with me that you are looking at this holistically, and I would just encourage you to think of it as holistically as possible. I know the historic mandated purpose is to hold the motorist primary, and obviously streets are made for people to get around, but they're also the infrastructure that we live in, and often become the bedrock for everything else around it. And I just think about the long-term funding difficulties that you're experiencing, the need for us to build in a way that's smart, and seeing our road network as not just
how we can most efficiently move people around from one end of the county to the other, but the bedrock infrastructure for our entire quality of life is just something I would continue to encourage, as you now serve in this role, and also as we're dealing with some of the long-term funding concerns. So,
I hear you, we'll take it.
thank you.
All right, I don't see any others, so I do see others. Commissioner Enter.
Just a real quick point, kind of an inconvenient truth, I guess. Currently, there's a lot of political pressure to electrify long-distance trucks and vehicles. It's political at this point, and it's actually happening in some states. And yet, they weigh on average about $5,500 or 5,500 pounds more than a traditional internal combustion engine. So not only are they not paying any type of user fee for the roads, they're doing a lot more damage. And yet, that's what everybody wants to do, electrify everything. Where are you at on that as far as your lobby interest? I mean, if we're going to continue with the current funding, which is a gas tax for majority of it, are you guys lobbying in that arena at all? Because we're talking about, somebody's got to be doing the math here, and where are they at?
Yeah, we are. We belong to the County Road Association. I'm currently the vice president, next year will be the president of it, and we are pushing the mileage base. We brought in somebody from Iowa. We bring in other states that are doing it because we don't need to reinvent that wheel, if you will.
Right.
We need to look what has worked in other jurisdictions, in other states, and copy and learn it. So yeah, we are pushing mileage based. But we also, I mean, we're the low-hanging fruit. We need to get the state on the same page. We need to get the federal government on the same page because people don't just travel within a jurisdiction.
Sure.
Ottawa County's going for a millage renewal. There are some cities in this county that are going for millage renewal. We don't have a millage in this county for roads, not at the county level or at the township level. We make do with what we have. But the issue is that it needs to get to mileage base. We need some parity, and no matter what you drive, you need to pay to use that road because you're a user. You're getting a benefit, and you need to pay accordingly.
Thank you,
So
Jerry.
we are working on it.
All right, thank you. I see no other comments, so thank you so much for your presentation, Jerry, and all the work that you and the Road Commission do, making us look good.
Thanks
So
for your
thank
time.
you. All right, our second special item of order of business, Jeff Dowd giving us a financial overview. Something like, it all looks good, Jeff, and then we're done? Can we?
If you're good with that, I'm good with that, but I'll be very brief, given the time of the day. So the financial overview, hopefully you've all received a copy of it, at least digitally. It's also on our webpage. This is the primary tool we create annually. I'd like to thank Marvin Van Nortwick, my deputy, who's primarily the author of this book. But the rating agencies use this, and we also use it for our continuing disclosures, which we have to file every year for our bond underwriting. So it's a very heavily used book. I'll go through just a couple highlights. Page 10, I'm going to start on. The sheriff talked a lot about population growth. You'll see that there. But I want to focus more on the bottom of that page, the per capita income growth. You can see Kent County has grown from 31,803 to 66,975 in the last 22 years, which is significant. It's over doubled, so, and it's ahead of the state. So one of the things rating agencies like to look at is the per capita, and the county's done really well in that area. Moving on to page 15, I'd like to focus on taxes, of course. It's our primary funding mechanism. You can see large growth again in 23, 12.5% change in SEV and an 8.6% taxable value change. So very, very good taxable growth. Moving on to page 19, revenue sharing is also a hot topic. You can see 23 was 9.4 million, but that was only a 9-month fiscal year, so it's a little hard to compare. We budgeted 15.7 in 24. I don't think we're going to see that amount. That was based on an initial discussion when we prepared the budget. I think it's going to be more around the 14.8, but we're budgeting about 15.5 in 25 coming up. So if you look, move to page 20, next page, legal debt. 1.18% total legal debt. You can see we have 3.7 billion of additional margin. Of course, we'd never think to borrow that amount, but we have a lot of capacity for debt. If you look in the middle of the page, you can see just under 67 million in net debt. The rest of the debt of the county is self-supporting by other entities like the airport. So very good position there. On page, let's see, 32, looking at cash, you'll see our cash position increased significantly as of 9/30 because, again, we've talked about this in the past. That was our high point of the year. $634 million in the bank as of 9/30. Moving on to page 36, the rating agencies are always interested in where our contracts stand and if they're under dispute. You can see here everyone was renewed except for TPOAM, and that was done later this year, so that's not reflected in this book at this point, but that's already been adopted as well. So all of our union contracts have been approved for extended periods of time, 5 or 4 years. So that's a good sign. Moving on to page 37, you can see general fund increased by $21.4 million, which was anticipated again to the change in the fiscal year, and we'll be monitoring our fund balance policy and bringing a change forward in the next couple of years once we have a better history on that. Let's see, moving on to page 39, debt service as a percent of general fund is something else we look at. It's very, very low at 3.3% for the county. Page 40, DTANs, another hot topic. You can see there was a large increase, but that was due to, sorry, wrong fund. We're building fund DTANs, this is DTANs, sorry. We're building that fund balance up, not only, so hopefully we can fund internally the DTANs every year. So we've discontinued moving the funds over to the general fund each and every year. We're at the $13.7 million in that particular fund right now, so very healthy, getting towards our goal of self-funding DTANs in the future. Page 47, capital. You can see just over $50 million in reserves for our capital projects. Most of those are assigned. There is some unassigned for strategic capital in that number as well. That's also a number the county or the rating agencies like to look at. Moving on to the airport on page 49, we always like to look at their debt service coverage ratio. It went down to 1.51 during COVID, but had a really good strong rebound. It's up to 4.21%, so very, very healthy. And then lastly, on page 54, this is the lodging excise tax fund. You can see it had a large increase, $8.3 million, but that's because of the change in fiscal year. Our bond payment is on 12/1 on that, so that'll level itself out over time. And then the rest of the book has our current policies and then recent financial news around the county. So with that, I'd be happy to answer questions.
All right, thank you so much. Any questions, comments from commissioners? I don't see any. Boy, you lucked out by being second.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Jeff. All right, public comment is our next item. This is the first opportunity for public comment. If there's anyone here from the public that wishes to address us with respect to agenda items only, please identify yourself and identify the item on the agenda that you wish to address, and you have up to 3 minutes. I see none. Yeah. Okay, we'll move to the consent agenda. I'll call on Commissioner Teal.
Thank you, Chair Steck. I move the consent agenda of today's date.
Thank you. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Sparks. Questions, comments? If not, this is a roll call.
On the consent agenda, Commissioners Wooden.
Yes.
Teal. Yes. Sparks. Ponstein.
Yes.
Pakla.
Yes.
Oliver King. Merchant. McLeod.
Yes.
LeGrand. Coleman.
Yes.
Hildebrand. Hennessy.
Yes.
Vice Chair Green.
Yes.
Commissioners Diaz.
Yes.
DeBoer. Earl.
Yes.
Bujak.
Yes.
Breivy.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Antor.
Yes.
Chair Steck.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 18 yeas, 0 nays. The consent agenda is adopted.
All right, thank you very much. We'll now move to the resolution for the day, and starting with Resolution 9A, I will again call on Commissioner Teal.
Thank you, Chair Steck. I move resolution number 66 of today's date, appointment to the Materials Management Planning Committee from the board.
Is there support? Support. Supported by Commissioner Breivy. Questions or comments on this one? I see none. This is a voice vote. All those that support the motion, please say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, say no. It is approved. Thank you. For our next item, I will call on Commissioner Hennessy. Is there support? Supported over here by Commissioner Wooden. All right. I note, I believe that is Tricia Finney is here. At least Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for your time. My name is Danielle Castillo. I know we've been here a long morning, so I'll keep it brief. This is our new deputy court administrator / magistrate. She spent 22 years at our circuit court, and now she's helping me out at district court, so I'm very thankful. So I'm very excited and appreciate your time this morning.
All right, good, thank you. Any questions, comments on this one? I see none. This is a voice vote as well. All those that support, please say yes.
Yes.
Those that oppose, say no. It is approved. Great, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, now move to item 9C, and I will call on Commissioner Burrow.
Thank you, Chair Steck. I'd like to move Resolution 68 of today's date, adoption of Kent County Brownfield Redevelopment Authority bylaws, Kent County Brownfield Redevelopment Authority.
Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Diaz. Questions or comments on this one? All right, I don't see any. This is a voice vote. All those that support, please say yes.
Yes.
Those that oppose, say no. It is approved. All right, we'll next move to item 9D, and I will call on Commissioner McLeod.
Thank you, Chair. I move Resolution 69 of today's date, amendment to the comprehensive agreement with Michigan Department of Health and Human Services for essential local public health service funding, coming to us from the Health Department.
Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Sparks. Questions or comments on this motion? If not, this is a roll call.
On the passage of Resolution 69, Commissioners Wooden,
Yes.
Teal,
Yes.
Sparks, Ponstein, Pakla,
Yes.
Oliver King, Merchant, McLeod,
Yes.
LeGrand, Coleman,
Yes.
Hildebrand, Hennessy,
Yes.
Vice Chair Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz, DeBoer,
Yes.
Burl,
Yes.
Bujak,
Yes.
Breivy,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Antor,
Yes.
Chair Steck.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, 18 yeas, 0 nays, the resolution is adopted.
Thank you very much. We'll move to item 9E, and I will call on Commissioner Antor.
I'd like to move Resolution 613-2470, the Fire Commission Budget Amendment.
Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Bujak. Questions or comments on this one? I see none. This is a roll call.
On the passage of Resolution 70, Commissioners Wooden,
Yes.
Teal,
Yes.
Sparks, Ponstein,
Yes.
Pakla,
Yes.
Oliver King, Merchant,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
LeGrand, Coleman,
Yes.
Hildebrand, Hennessy,
Yes.
Vice Chair Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz, DeBoer,
Yes.
Burl,
Yes.
Bujak,
Yes.
Breivy,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Antor,
Yes.
Chair Steck.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, 18 yeas, 0 nays, the resolution is adopted.
Thank you very much. We'll move to the next item, 9F, and I will call on Vice Chair Green.
Thank you, Chair Steck. I move the adoption of Resolution 71, assign the Fuller Campus Capital Improvement Project to the Kent County Building Authority from the Facilities Department.
Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Breivy. Questions or comments on this one? I see none. This is a voice vote. All those that support, please say yes.
Yes.
Those that oppose, say no. It is approved. All right, for the next item, I will call on Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Chair. It is my pleasure to move adoption of Resolution 72 of today's date, a resolution to approve the Kent County Community Action June 30 annual operations funding. It comes to us from Kent County Community Action.
Thank you. Is there support for that motion? Supported by, everybody's pointing their fingers. Commissioner McLeod, was that you? All right, thank you. Any questions or comments on this motion? All right, I don't see any. This is a roll call.
On the passage of Resolution 72, Commissioners Wooden,
Yes.
Teal, Sparks, Ponstein, Pakla,
Yes.
Oliver King, Merchant, McLeod, LeGrand, Coleman,
Yes.
Hildebrand, Hennessy, Vice Chair Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz, DeBoer, Burl,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I went out of order. Bujak,
Yes.
Breivy,
Yes.
Baker,
So yes.
Antor,
Yes.
Steck.
Did you say Chair Steck? Yes. Yes. Yes and yes.
Mr. Chair, 18 yeas, 0 nays, the resolution is adopted.
Thank you. We'll now move to the next item, and I will call on Commissioner Sparks.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move Resolution 73 of today's date, approve the Kent County Community Development Annual Action Plan and appropriation for the Kent County Community Action.
Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Wooden. Questions or comments? I see none. This is a roll call.
On the passage of Resolution 73, Commissioners Wooden,
Yes.
Teal, Sparks, Ponstein, Pakla,
Yes.
Oliver King, Merchant, McLeod,
Yes.
LeGrand, Coleman,
Yes.
Hildebrand, Hennessy,
Yes.
Vice Chair Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz, DeBoer, Burl,
Yes.
Bujak,
Yes.
Breivy,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Antor, Chair Stack.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, 18 yeas, 0 nays, the resolution is adopted.
Thank you. We'll now move to the next item, and I'll call on Commissioner McLeod.
Thank you, Chair. I move Resolution 74 of today's date to appropriate funding for the Kent County Lead Evaluation and Reduction Program coming to us from the Community Action.
Thank you. Is there support for that motion? Supported by Commissioner Pakla. Questions, comments? Commissioner Antor.
Thank you, Chair. I think in the language here, let me see, we're talking about reduction of lead exposure and as opposed to remediation. I was just wondering what the difference is. One seems like we have kind of a low bar, and the other one, what's the difference legally, I guess?
I wouldn't be able to give you the legal definition, but I do know that I think the most we could do is an abatement. It's really going to depend on what we're able to find in those homes. We really don't know until we start testing, and we want to make sure we spread the dollars enough. And I think given our current expertise, we feel confident in reduction as the term to use, but I can get you some more information and some more definitions.
That's fair enough. I know I've always been complaining because over the years we've been educating, but there wasn't any really remediation efforts going on. I think we've turned the corner.
Yeah, and this is kind of to get us kicked off. So these dollars will get us kicked off, and we have a HUD grant that we're also investing some time into, and I think that one's going to be a little bit more a deep dive into the work that we can do in remediation and further.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, any other questions, comments? Commissioner Hennessy.
Just to clarify, I'm glad to see this money going into the, reducing the lead poisoning effects among our children particularly. But the money itself, this is a part of our ARPA plan? Okay, so we're taking it from ARPA and we're actually putting it right to KCCA. That's all. Thank you.
That was a nod, but it was a yes.
I heard the nods.
Any other questions or comments? All right, if not, this is a roll call.
On the passage of Resolution 74, Commissioners Wooden,
Yes.
Teal, Sparks, Ponstein, Pakla,
Yes.
Oliver King, Merchant, McLeod,
Yes.
LeGrand, Coleman, Hildebrand, Hennessy, Vice Chair Green,
Yes.
Commissioners Diaz, DeBoer, Burl,
Yes.
Bujak, Breivy,
Yes.
Baker, Antor, Chair Stack.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, 18 yeas, 0 nays, the resolution is adopted.
Thank you. I'll now call on Commissioner DeBoer for our next resolution.
Thank you, Chair. I move Resolution 75 of today's date, Employee Business Expense Policy, coming to us from the Administrator's Office.
Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Pakla. Any questions or comments on this one? Commissioner McLeod.
Thank you, Chair. I just have a question about the ending of the emergency and what transpires to make that happen so that the policies go back into effect.
The ending of the emergency.
Yes, so this is, in case of an emergency, the county administrator can modify, waive, or suspend policies. So once the emergency is over, when do we then go back to the regular policies?
We would immediately go back.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments? I see none. This is a voice vote. All those that support the motion, please say yes.
Yes.
Those that oppose, say no. It is approved. All right, for our next resolution, I will call on Vice Chair Green.
Thank you, Chair Steck. I move that the resolution concerning the proposed agreement with Wolverine Worldwide, Inc., concerning costs and expenses incurred or to be incurred at North Kent landfill be approved.
Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Brevy. The written version of that motion is being distributed. I will at least wait a little bit till that gets sent around. Yeah, so everyone has the written version in front of them now at this point. So, questions or comments? And I'll go to you, Commissioner Burrow.
Thank you, Chair Steck. Just to note, at DPW meeting last Thursday, we went into closed session on this. So it would have been Vice Chair Green, Commissioner Brevy, Commissioner Pakla, and Commissioner McLeod, and myself were all in that meeting on that. I'm not sure one of us have an objection with this. We had a little bit more of a detailed presentation at that board meeting on Thursday, and I do believe, again, I believe if one of them want to correct me, that we all did feel comfortable with that presentation and what we were told, which again was a little bit more detailed than today. Thank you, Chair.
All right. Okay, Commissioner Hennessy.
This is very general. It doesn't have any specifics in terms of numbers or anything. Is that, I'm assuming that's deliberate and for good reason?
It is deliberate, Commissioner. One of the things that we were requested to do was work up a joint statement with Wolverine, should we be asked for the details, and we were willing to have that conversation at the mediation. And so this is deliberately, but obviously a formal written settlement agreement will be signed and executed, that's referenced in here, and that will be part of the county's files.
I believe Commissioner Brevy was next.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to echo Commissioner Burrell's statement. Yes, we did hear some information in our Board of Public Works meeting last week. And the board, we did have some questions, and all of those questions were answered. And I feel very comfortable moving forward with this. Dealing with the situation has been something, I've done on the board since 2017. So I'm looking forward to moving ahead and, putting this behind us.
All right, Commissioner Ponstein.
Thank you, Chair Steck. I too want to thank all the work that went into this. This is a difficult issue, and we have a local business that was in the crosshairs of this from day one, and they came to the table, kind of negotiated an agreement to at least try to fix the part that we have some responsibility to. What I am disappointed in is, once again, this does nothing about the PFAS problem in this country. In fact, it doesn't do anything about the PF family of chemicals that are out there that are just as toxic as PFAS is. They keep changing these by one molecule at a time, every time that it's ruled that it's unsafe to use. So, yeah, just disappointing. 3M is still producing PFAS. And they just seem to just move right along, keep making their profits, and nothing's done, but the health of the residents and the citizens of this country are going to be facing these. They say it's a forever chemical. We'll see. The other disappointing part of this, too, is that here we are, we're in negotiations on a serious problem that the taxpayers have been footing the bill for. This will assist in this. For us as a county to negotiate the legal fees on a percentage instead of an hourly, I mean, that's an outrageous amount of money that could be better being used to support the residents of this county that are affected by that. So I don't know who made that decision to come up with that fee schedule, but it's unacceptable, and it's just disappointing to me, not only by the law firm that charged it, but we are accepting that as a fair price for what they did. Thank you.
Commissioner Antor.
Thank you, Chair. I think most of us, this is kind of above our pay grade as far as the litigation process, and I'd like to defer to our two attorneys on our board, just because they know this area better. And I'm just looking at you as, what do you think about this as far as, did we miss anything? I know you probably support this, and I'm just wondering if you know, you're two people that represent us legally, and I'm just wondering how you feel about this, because the rest of us aren't really that familiar with what you know within that litigation process.
Do I get to charge for this?
I hope that, I know there's a question in there someplace. I just, I'd like to defer to you guys as experts on this.
Well, I'll respond because you put it to me, but I will not respond as an attorney, no matter how many of these cases I have been involved with, but as a commissioner assessing what I think is in the best interests of the county, to reach a resolution of these issues now versus continuing to litigate for an extended period of time, yes, I would be supporting this motion.
That's fine, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we were up to Commissioner Diaz. Sorry.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think this is, I don't know, I almost can't think of a better case in my time on this board. As far as an example of what we were elected to do, and an example of corporate greed, corporate malfeasance. The public was lied to, again, this board was lied to. This is a multi-billion-dollar company that we're talking about. I understand the point that this case, this situation, is not about seeking punitive damages or anything like that. But at the end of the day, this company knew what it was doing, and it didn't care for profit. Again, I'm not a legal expert. I'm hearing that the case being laid out that it's getting these funds into the county would do a lot of work, but you know, math is my worst subject by far, but to me the math ain't mathing. I mean, $8 million, of which we've already spent, you know, $2. It's just not. Again, it's a slap on the wrist, and I don't think that by us accepting this, we would be really changing much of anything. I hope that we can vote no. I think that we should keep having conversations. 15 years from now, being in the same place, it's just not. It'd be even worse, I think, at that point. So I will be voting no, and I hope that other commissioners do as well.
All right. Did I have somebody else? Yeah, Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you, Chair. I do think I share some of Commissioner Ponstein's concerns just about the legal costs, you know, in all of this. But it does seem to me that this agreement with Wolverine Worldwide is something that's beneficial to cover these costs that the county has and will bear in relation to these chemicals. So I think it's worth supporting, and I think we all ought to recognize as well, you know, these events, you know, transpiring in the, you know, early 80s. You know, there's a number of members of this board that were either not alive at all or, you know, only alive for a portion of the period of time that this occurred, and so I think the company involved here, you know, does have an obligation to help cover these costs, but I'm sure in another 30, 40 years there'll be members of this community that look back at us and other business leaders and our mistakes, and it's easy to judge, but this is so long in the past that we just have to deal with what's in front of us in terms of the consequences, and I think this agreement does that.
All right, any other? Commissioner Packlove.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Serving on the Board of Public Works, I agree with those that have
preceded me in our acceptance of this. One of the things I think is important to say is that what this conversation and settlement is doing is really holding accountable, even though it could obviously be a higher level of accountability, but we're holding accountable a company that knowingly did disseminate a chemical that was known to be a problem at the time. But in reality, what's happening here is that we are now protecting the groundwater and the discharged water that's going through the treatment facilities in the north part of our county from these materials. We have installed already, at great cost to the county, a mitigation system that's really impressive in action right now. If you haven't had a chance to go up to the North Kent landfill to see that PFAS treatment facility, it is fantastic. And it's only going to get better. And we know that the technology is improving, and we know that the costs are going to continue to go up to continue protecting our residents here in Kent County from these forever chemicals. So I support us moving forward in this, because I think in the end what this means is that we as a county are protecting our citizens from the potential of PFAS forever.
All right, anyone else? If not, just a couple of comments. My understanding of the potential litigation here in no way engages punitive damages or exemplary damages, simply not even recognized in this kind of litigation. So it'll never be, whether we settle or not, it'll never be an issue in this case. And in fact, fault won't even be an issue in this case. So it's merely an allocation of the fact that there is PFAS and where do we allocate the cost of that. And why I asked the question, I guess I can't say that, as to where is our damage assessment here, and this appears to be well in excess of that. So this strikes me as an eminently reasonable resolution, and while we have engaged already in a contract for retention, good or bad or ugly, it's already done. So the only question to us is, do we continue to litigate this, or do we take the resolution that's offered to us at this point? And I think it is a fair and appropriate one. I support it. Any other questions or comments? If not, this is a roll call vote.
On the passage of Resolution 76, Commissioners Wooden.
Yes.
Teal. Yes. Sparks. Ponstein.
Yes.
Pakla.
Yes.
Oliver King. Merchant.
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes.
LeGrand. Coleman.
Yes.
Hildebrand. Hennessy.
Yes.
Vice Chair Green.
Yes.
Commissioners Diaz.
No.
DeBoer.
Yes.
Burl.
Yes.
Bujak.
Yes.
Breivy.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Antor.
Yes.
Chair Steck.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 16 yeas, 1 nay. The resolution is adopted.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to public comment, our second opportunity for public comment. If there is anyone here from the public that wishes to address the board with respect to matters that are within our general jurisdiction, you may do so at this time. Please identify yourself by name and your address, and you have up to 3 minutes. Took longer to say that than to take comment. All right. I see none. We'll now move to the administrator's report.
Just quickly, head to your mailbox if you haven't already to pick up a copy of the proposed 2025 budget.
All right, we'll then move to reports. Does any commissioner have a report? I see none. I just have 2 items to report, again confirming that I have appointed Matt Coleman, Commissioner Coleman, to the Materials Management Planning Committee, and I think that fills out that committee at this point. And the second is that I've appointed myself to serve as the representative at the CAA going forward. If no other, yes, you do have a report.
Yes, thank you. All right, Commissioner Teal and I both serve on the West Michigan Sports Commission, so we just have a brief update from that. And just wanted to mention that the Sports Commission's signature event, which is the Meyer State Games of Michigan, recently kicked off the 15th annual Summer Games last weekend with 5 sports. And it will continue this weekend with another 5 sports, along with the main weekend, which is starting June 21st. There is a opening ceremonies. If anyone would like to attend, please let me know. I'd be happy to provide you with the information. And there's a VIP reception as well. So continue to support and serve all those athletes that are in our area. There's definitely going to be people from outside of West Michigan that come down to participate in those events.
Thank you. Now any other reports? I Don't see any. We'll move to miscellaneous. Does any commissioner have a miscellaneous item? Commissioner Ponstein.
Thank you, Chair Steck. We got a note, I think yesterday in my email box. I want to thank the Culver's Restaurant Group out of Wisconsin. They've been a long time defender, advocate of farmland in this country and the importance of it. They're going to be doing a fundraiser later this this month. 8 of their stores are going to be giving proceeds to the Farmland Preservation Fund that's being held at the Community Foundation. So I wanted to thank them. If you do any research about that company, you'll see it's a real down-to-earth corporation. Second of all, we always hear about the athletes and state championships and everything. This is a little bit different. The Granville Public Schools have a robotics team, the RoboDogs. They were in Houston for a world championship. They won several awards. I think the one thing that they're most proud of in the finals, the 2 teams that were in the finals were both Granville teams. So we were guaranteed the finalists championship, and I just want to send my hats off with so much reporting about all sporting and all of our heroes in the life. The Granville Public Schools has got a building that's dedicated to the robotics program and actually has an arena where we can hold competitions and compete. So congratulations to Granville. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Pacla.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to briefly commend the administrator and his team for yet another agenda that's full of grant opportunities coming into the counties. So I always appreciate when those grants are expanding our budgets.
Okay, Commissioner Bujak, I think you were next.
Thank you, Chair Steck. Just wanted to thank the commission today for supporting the resolution regarding the Fire Commission. That funding will be going towards a fire apparatus for Caledonia Township in the form of a new fire pumper truck. So that's money coming to my district, and on behalf of the constituents of District 21, I say thank you to the board.
All right, Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to take a moment and note that June is Pride Month, and wanted to wish all in our community, in the LGBTQ plus community, and those who are LGBTQ plus loved ones and friends, a happy Pride, and hope to see many of you at our Grand Rapids Pride Festival on June 22. And just thank you again, and happy Pride.
Thank you. Commissioner Antor.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks. Well, actually, I wanted to thank the board as well for that supplemental funding for the Fire Commission. And as long as Commissioner Ponstein brought up athletes, I get to brag a little bit. I just wanted to shout out my granddaughter, once again, Avery, who's in 7th grade, and she just posted the fastest time in the history of middle school athletics for the 3,200 in Florida, and she's currently 3rd all-time across the country. I'm extremely, extremely proud of her. And as she continues her quest to hopefully someday, be in the conversation about Olympic athletes, she's going to certainly give it everything she has. So very proud. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on a miscellaneous item? Commissioner Hennessy.
I'll add, the Area Agency for on Aging has its senior resource fair going on as we're meeting until 1 o'clock. This is, guess this is for anybody who might be watching us on live TV right now, as well as those of us at the table.
All right, Commissioner Diaz.
Thank you, Chair. Just really quickly, there is an Ole to Mole event in Burton Heights this weekend. Mole is essentially a traditional Mexican dish using chocolate and a bunch of other spices. If you've never tried it, it's amazing. It will be in the Burton Heights area. A bunch of different local restaurants are creating a dish, so I'm inviting you to all of that. Additionally, if there are any people of Mexican descent in your districts who are specifically from the state of Guanajuato, that clerk essentially for that state will be in my district this weekend at 101 Hall Street, doing all types of clerk services, so divorce, marriage, applying for Mexican citizenship. So if anybody is interested in that, you do have to pre-register, but that information can be found online. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other miscellaneous? If Not, I just have one. Last evening, Administrator Vanderberg and I had the pleasure of presenting to a contingent from Billings, Montana and Yellowstone County, who were here to observe how we do the great things we do in Kent County and Grand Rapids. Was a nice event, a good experience. I will share one amazing piece of information. Yellowstone County runs with 3 county commissioners, period, 3. So keep that in mind. Any 2 conversations is a Open Meetings Act violation. So they don't know each other's names even, so. All right, if nothing else, I will call, oh yeah, there you go, Commissioner Teal.
Oh, I move to adjourn.
Well done. Supported. All right, all those in favor say yes. We are adjourned.